The TARDIS hung in the vacuum like a forgotten thought. Her doors stood open to the stars. He sat on the threshold, boots dangling over eternity. The Doctor did not look like the Doctor. There was no bright, dangerous spark in his eyes, no half-smile, no restless energy ready to burst into brilliance. His face was rough with days, perhaps weeks of neglect. Dark stubble shadowed his jaw. His shirt was creased and half-buttoned wrong. His grey coat and coloured scarf hung abandoned on a brass hook by the door, as though even they had given up trying to cheer him up. Below him, the universe laid silent. Behind him, the cloister bell tolled. It had been ringing for days. I know, the Doctor muttered without turning around. I saw it all. You don't have to keep telling me. Not long ago, though time had begun to feel meaningless, the Doctor had witnessed it. The end. Not the sort of end he was used to. Not flames and screaming and last-minute reversals. No. Stillness. Every world, every century, every possible future, reduced to bones. Even the time vortex felt thin, brittle. He had tried to go back. Of course he had tried. He had thrown every ounce of brilliance, arrogance, and desperation at the problem. He had set coordinates for days before the devastation, a year, a millennia. The TARDIS refused to materialize. Not malfunctioning, refusing, as though something stood between then and now and would not let him pass. The cloister bells stopped. The silence was even worse. Finally, the Doctor whispered, pushing himself to his feet. Some peace. He stepped inside, the doors still open to the void. The console room glowed dimly. He ran his hand over the console. Come on, old girl, he said quietly. Let's give this another try. His fingers danced across the controls. He set the coordinates with deliberate care. Earth, Ranger Council HQ, 2025. If anything was left, if anyone was left, he would find them there. He pulled the main lever, the engines wheezed, the rotor rose and fell flat. Nothing. The Doctor stared at the console, then slammed his palm against it. Don't you dare! He snapped. Don't you dare give up on me! Not now. Now, young man, said a voice behind him, warm and faintly amused. That is no way to treat my TARDIS. The Doctor froze. Slowly, carefully, he turned. Stood on the opposite side of the console was a smaller, elderly man with a sharp, hawk-like face and piercing, intelligent eyes beneath heavy brows. His white hair swept back from his forehead, as though even time itself had struggled to tame it. He wore a dark Edwardian frocked coat, buttoned high, with a crisp shirt and waistcoat beneath, and a narrow tie fastened neatly at his collar. In one hand he rested a slender cane, which tapped lightly against the TARDIS floor with quiet authority. He did not look fragile. He looked formidable. The Doctor's heart lurched. What? His voice cracked. He swallowed. What? What are you... How are you here? The old man tilted his head. How the devil should I know? He said. I'm you. Silence stretched between them. I know what you know, the elderly doctor continued, tapping the side of his nose. I felt it too. The moment everything went quiet. Rather rude, if you ask me. Universal ending catastrophes should at least have the decency to explain themselves. That's impossible, the younger doctor breathed. There's nothing left. I saw it. No timelines, no branching possibilities, just bones, the older doctor finished gently. They looked at each other. If you're me, the younger one said, then you know I tried to go back. Oh, yes, said the elderly doctor. You tried brute force, emotional pleading, mildly insulting the TARDIS. Very creative sulking, by the way. She won't land. No, my dear boy, she won't, the older doctor agreed softly. You felt it, didn't you? The elderly doctor continued. That wrongness in the vortex. Something didn't destroy the universe. Something removed it, carefully, completely, like tearing pages from a book, said the elderly doctor. Who? The younger doctor demanded. The elderly doctor's expression darkened. That, my dear boy, is why we are both here, said the elderly doctor. The younger doctor glanced at the open doors, at the silent stars. If there's nothing left, he said slowly, how are you standing there? The elder doctor smiled. Because we are very difficult to erase. The doctor breathed slowly. You're not here, he muttered. My mind's playing tricks on me. Stress response. Temporal trauma. Very textbook. Tricks? The elderly doctor sniffed. Possibly. Not being entirely real? Almost certainly. But I am still you. I am still the doctor. The original, you might say. The younger doctor rolled his eyes. Here we go. Yes, yes, here we do, the elderly doctor replied. Do try to keep up, dear boy. The younger doctor stepped around the console, studying the figure before him more closely. The sharp features, the calculating eyes, the cane resting lightly but ready. The man who had stolen a Type 40 TARDIS and fled Gallifrey. This TARDIS. You're the one who ran, the younger doctor said, quietly. The elderly doctor's gaze sharpened. I left. There is a difference. The younger doctor reached out abruptly, swiping his hand through the old man's shoulder. His fingers passed straight through. No resistance, no warmth, just a shimmer of pale light. Well, of course I'm in your mind, dear boy, the older doctor said, entirely unbothered. But I am here. You might say, in spirit. Yes. At least you admit it, the younger doctor sighed. He turned away for only a second. When he looked back, the elderly doctor was gone. The TARDIS fell silent again. No cane tapping, no disapproving stare. Just the hum of distant systems and the soft rise and fall of the time rotor, flickering uncertainly. The doctor stood very still. Then the sound echoed from behind him. He closed his eyes. Oh, honestly, you do have a dreadful habit of ignoring wisdom when it is presented to you, came the familiar voice. The doctor didn't turn this time. You vanished. Did I? Or did you simply stop looking? Said the elderly doctor. The younger doctor's jaw tightened. You're not real. No, my dear boy, but neither is the universe at present, and that does not seem to be stopping you from worrying about it. That hit harder than it should have. The younger doctor turned slowly. The elderly doctor stood beside the doors now, hands folded over the head of his cane, peering out into the silent void. "When you stole her," the younger doctor said, nodding towards the console. "When we stole her. Did we ever think it would end like this?" The first doctor's expression grew distant. "When I took the TARDIS, I did not concern myself with endings. I was thinking about beginnings." He glanced sideways. "You have forgotten that. I've just watched everything die." "Yes. And what is the one thing we do when faced with impossible catastrophes?" "We never give up." "Exactly, my dear boy," said the elderly doctor. The younger doctor gave a faint smile. "That's why you're here, isn't it? You're my conscience, my Jiminy Cricket in a frock coat." The elderly doctor sniffed. "I am the part of you that remembers why we do this," he said. "Before the speeches, before you started announcing yourself to every tin-pot tyrant in the cosmos." The doctor glanced at the monitor. Static shimmered across the screen. "I have battled Daleks, Cybermen, Sontarans," he said slowly. "Gods, monsters, emperors. I've stood in the ruins of Skaro. I have faced down fleets with nothing but words." For a moment, he was standing once more in the high chamber of Gallifrey, robed Time Lords staring down at him with cold disapproval as he defended himself. The weight of that defiance returned to his voice. "I will not let this defeat me." He reset the coordinates. Earth, Ranger Council HQ, 2025. His hand hovered only briefly before pulling the lever. The TARDIS groaned in protest, as though straining against an unseen barrier. The doctor gritted his teeth. "Come on," he whispered. "Please." A smaller hand, steady despite its age, rested atop his. The doctor looked. The first doctor stood beside him, expression grave but certain. "This ship was not stolen to surrender," the elderly doctor said. A golden energy flickered where their hands touched. Not violent, not explosive, ancient. Artron energy. The TARDIS answered. The groaning shifted into a roar. The rotor surged upward with sudden force. The center column blazed with light. For the first time since the devastation, the younger doctor stared at the screen. "We're moving." "Yes, my dear boy, of course we are," said the elderly doctor. The golden glow faded. The younger doctor turned. But his original self was already beginning to thin, edges blurring like mist in the sunlight. "Wait," the doctor said. The first doctor met his gaze one last time. Remember, my dear boy, we do not run away to watch the universe end."